this is a very exciting decade, and at the cusp of the fourth industrial revolution, the way we work, the way we learn, the way we live is going to change dramatically. In the next 3 to 4 years, you will see that 75% of all the people in the world will be living almost in the cities. 1 trillion objects will be connected, and then you will have bandwidth, which is exciting, and you will also be actually looking at matter that transforms and is programmable. It is the internet of everything. Having said this, the National Association of Software and Service Companies basically is the platform and an enabler for every other industrial sector, whether it is automotive, engineering, or if it is security, or if it's electronics, media and entertainment, telecom, real estate, gem and jewelry, furniture making, take what you will. You will never find the ability to scale, the efficiencies to be achieved without technology at the helm of it. Even if I were to talk about a textile worker, using CAD becomes an important prerogative. If I'm talking about healthcare, you will also see that there's a huge amount of automation that actually permeates the very processes that are now actually being skilled. Having said this, what happens now in this area is there are 4 major subsectors that have to be considered. The IT services, business process management, engineering and R&D, and software and product development. These 4 have spawned actually 48 service lines or trades, otherwise called occupations. And then within, we have a large number of job roles. It's the first time in this decade that India has actually perceived a systemic process of skilling and training and has identified job roles in a manner of functions, sub-functions, and tasks. And these map extraordinarily well with the international scenarios. So we have mapped our job roles with Japan, with Korea, with Canada, with UK, Australia, New Zealand. What really happens is, having also the national skills qualification framework in place, it opportunes a very interesting scenario wherein which an individual can use a certification actually earned in India to be a currency for global mobility. This actually makes it come true, the Prime Minister's idea that India could be the warehouse of the globe and of course for the future. But having said all of this, this is a very, very dynamic scenario, because the technology is never salient and it's never stable. What actually happens in this industrial revolution vis-a-vis the other 3 before is, there was actually a decade, sometimes 2 decades, or even 100 years before the technology innovation came to be. The first one was the steam engine, the second was electricity, the third was on computing, and now it's all on digital disruption. Those changes and transformations gave you time to actually innovate and come to understand the nuances of it. Here, when you have a new technology come into play, it is 6 months and it's almost reaching its end, and another thing comes into place. How do we address it? So the whole ecosystem has to respond equally fast, and the management of such change and the governance of it and the policies that have to be put in place has to be equally articulate and quick to take the decisions. So it's actually very important that we have administrators and CEOs at this particular forum to understand the enormity of what you have to govern and to change at the speed that is required. So I would now talk of the older areas, like you have cyber, you have analytics, you have application development, you would talk of finance and accounting, product design, engineering. It's almost becoming legacy. Though it's important, now we talk of new technologies like robotic process automation, artificial intelligence, I will talk of blockchain, machine learning, 3D, 4D printing, we will talk of course, cloud is still there, Internet of Everything, and the list goes on. But each one of this intercepts and interacts with every other sector. So even if you were to go to a shop now to make a purchase of your normal vegetables, you'll actually use artificial intelligence for face recognition, and you put your products into your basket, and the basket will discount the amount from your cell phone and make it on. You want to sit into a driverless car, it is actually 70% of it is almost electronics and software. So the way we are actually working and the capabilities which we bring to the table is enormous. It's an exciting phase, but once again, it is a huge supply-demand training and a governance that makes it together. The stakeholders have to work, and there is miles to go before we sleep. Exciting times, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity.